So we've just parked at Newlands Corner. It's quite a big thing at Newlands Corner. I was quite surprised. It's a big car park, visitor centre, cafe, very, very busy. Lots of people walking. Beautiful day today. We're about to embark on our 7.5 mile walk, me and Kips. And Newlands Corner is interesting. It's got an interesting history which I will tell you about in a bit. Anyway, it's a lovely part of the world around here in the Surrey Hills, area of outstanding natural beauty. So we are on the North Downs Way. It starts in Farnham and it ends at Dover. It's about 153 miles long, and we link up in a short while with Pilgrim's Way, which runs from Winchester to Canterbury Cathedral, and is the route that the pilgrims used to take to go and worship at the shrine of Thomas a Becket, St Thomas a Becket, the martyred priest who was killed by a king, I can't remember which one. Henry the, I'm going to guess at 4th, maybe, in the 1500s. The correct information will appear in a caption at the bottom of your screen. Anyway, this is the North Downs Way. So we're on this sort of sunken pathway. We've come off the North Downs Way. We're now on the Pilgrim's Way, which I mentioned earlier. But the really bizarre thing is that this whole pathway is all sand. I don't know if you can see. This whole pathway is sand, and we're a long way away from the shoreline, any beach or anything like that, and yet this whole pathway is just sand. It's very strange. Can't really give an explanation for it, but I'm sure there will be one. But it's odd, isn't it, Kips? It's like being on the beach, isn't it? Like being on the beach. Ooh, did somebody say the B word? There's no beach here, puppy dog, but there is sand. Very odd. Anyway, shall we continue? I think we shall. Come on, Kips. We're now at Tyting's Farm, which is notable because it was bought in 1942 by the government and turned into a training centre for the SOE, Special Operations Executive, which was one of the brainchilds of Winston Churchill, and its job was to train spies, saboteurs, people that could operate behind enemy lines in occupied Europe and cause problems for the Nazis, and this was one of the places that they were trained. We're now in some rather lovely woods. with some horses in the field next to us. I've just heard whinnying, and yeah, we're in the dappled deliciousness of these lovely cool woods on quite a warm day. Bird song in the background, poochums waiting, and yeah, it's rather delicious. I might take this opportunity to tell you all about Newlands Corner, as it's quiet round here. So Newlands Corner is, I'd say, almost world famous to Christiophiles, that is, people that admire the works of Agatha Christie and know about her life. Now, Newlands Corner is famous for the most noteworthy portion of Agatha Christie's life, and that is her disappearance. In 1952, when she was already a very famous author, she disappeared for 11 days from Newlands Corner. Her car was discovered sort of semi-crashed into a hedge with the light still on, her fur coat on the passenger seat, and her driving license, but she wasn't there. And the thought at the time was that she'd committed suicide. She had recently lost her mother, and her husband had just filed for a divorce, so people assumed that she'd taken her own life, to the point that they dredged a lake nearby Newlands Corner called Silent Pool. Didn't find her. They had 600 police officers and more than 1,000 local people all combing the area looking for her. Couldn't find her. 11 days later, she was discovered in Harrogate in Yorkshire, in a hotel, and she claimed to have no memory of the incident at Newlands Corner or how she got to Harrogate or anything. She was what they call in a fugue state, so obviously very mentally distressed. But yeah, so that is why Newlands Corner, for a brief period in history in 1952, was very, very famous throughout the world. So yes, that's where the walk started from, and that's where it'll finish. And we will continue along Pilgrim's Way, which is this track here, until we get to the point where we turn round, and at that point we shall stop and have a sandwich and a drink and some sweeties and some treats and some water for the dog, because it is very, very hot today and he's very thirsty, so he does need some hydration. I am being very careful with my water. In fact, I haven't had any at all, because I'm saving as much of it as I can for Kipper, because he needs it more than I do. Anyway, shall we continue through these delicious dappled woods of delightfulness? Yes, let's. Chilworth Manor Vineyard. Ooh la la. It's rather grand. There was a lake back there. I tried to get through to get access for the poochums to have a swim, but there was no luck, unfortunately. It was too overgrown, so we cut a path through the woods trying to get further on, see if there was a better place to for Kipper to jump in, and we ended up in somebody's back garden. So we had to evacuate rather quickly. It's all rather nice around here. Yeah, actually you can see the grape trees. There they are. The vineyard. I'm not really sure where we should be going now. Public bridle way is to the right, so it must be this way. And it's all rather la-di-da around here, I have to say. Very nice. We're about 4 miles into the walk, and about 2 and a bit, nearly 3 miles to go. The weather's lovely, just about perfect, perhaps a touch on the warm side, but you can't have everything. Now we've come to a signpost. Now that says St Martha's up there, and that's where we want to go. We're going to go to St Martha's Church. So, oh, hang on, there's the vineyard. There's the vineyard. Wowzers! Look at that. Look at what sort of wines they grow here. Champagne. Mix of Pinot Meunier. That can't be right. Pinot Meunier, Pinot Noir, and Chardonnay. Delicate still rosé and a range of delicious premium sparkling wines. Wowzers. Look at that. Rather nice. Right, so we need to head to St Martha's Church, which I believe is up there. In fact, I think it might be at the top of that hill. And it's a very old church. I think it was built in the 14th century. It's been rebuilt since then, but using all the original, or a lot of the original stone, and it's got a lot of the original features. And it is only accessible by foot. You cannot drive there. So the only way to get to it is to yomp up the hill, and the hill I think is about 300 meters high. So it's going to be a challenge on a warm day. Poochums is getting ready, resting those legs. Oh, there's a lovely breeze here in the shadow of the vineyards. Lovely, lovely. Right, we shall pop up that hill and then do a bit of filming at St Martha's Church, and we can have a look and see what it's all about. Man, this is steep. We're about halfway up this hill now. Yeah, it's a bit steeper than I was expecting. We shall have a well-earned rest at the top and a drink of water for both of us. So here we are at St Martha's Church. It's actually called St Martha's Church on the Hill, and it's very appropriate because it is on the hill, a bloody steep one. 450 feet climb that was, and it was very, very steep. Anyway, it's worth it to get to the top because this is a beautiful old church. It's Norman, built in around the 12th century. It's been rebuilt since then, but a lot of the original stonework and the original features are present in the rebuilt church, including the old Norman archway of the main entrance, which you can see here, and also the zigzag pattern of the church windows on the tower. They're all original 12th century features. Lovely, lovely spot to put a church. So an old time French pianist, singer, actress called Yvonne Arnaud had her ashes scattered here many years ago. Not sure of the story behind that, but her ashes are up here. You can see why she wanted to do that. It's amazing. Amazing views from up here. So we're going to carry on now. We've got about 1.5 miles left to do to get back to Newlands Corner. It's really strange. This sand is everywhere and it's thick sand. It's like being on a beach. It's like being amongst sand dunes. I've never come across sand like this anywhere other than directly next to a beach. It's really weird, but it is everywhere. Oh well, I'm sure there is a geological explanation for it. Just under 1.25 miles to go, and you can see that ridge line over there. That's where we started. That was the first bit of open land that we came to. So we're just walking back parallel to that first section we did, and we'll be back at Newlands Corner. We just come across like a sort of bunker of sorts, and I've just seen what looks like another one over there, like a stone built, thick walled, military looking bunker. Not quite sure why, but it's definitely what it is. Kipper, come on. They must have been thinking, I mean, they are scattered around the countryside as little places of centres of resistance in the event of a German invasion during the Second World War, but that one does seem particularly out of the way. I'm sure the Germans would have taken a detour over the Surrey Hills, but there you go. Yeah, it was a nice little detour anyway. So we're walking back along this path, just pure sand. It's been pure sand underfoot for the vast majority of this walk. It's quite awkward to walk on actually for any long distance, because it's not really a solid surface. Kind of makes me want to put some flip-flops on, but not ideal for distance walking. But yeah, we'll be back soon, back at Newlands Corner, and the end of our little adventure. But what a lovely day. It's just been glorious weather. Been very lucky today. The weather's changing. I think tomorrow it's meant to be okay, but Sunday's going to be awful apparently. We're coming up to Bank Holiday weekend, so it goes without saying. But yeah, it's just lovely today. Pretty much perfect, not too hot, but quite warm, but not too hot. Lovely breeze, sunshine, not much wind. It's just been absolutely lovely. And I shall actually be sorry once this walk is finished. It's been very, very enjoyable. You can't really see it, but over that hill and beyond these pine trees, there's an ancient woodland called Cloyer's Hanger. Bit of a weird name, I don't know where that comes from. But anyway, Cloyer's Hanger is notable for marsh marigolds and pendulous sedge. So if anybody ever asks you what Cloyer's Hanger is famous for, you can tell them. Marsh marigolds and pendulous sedge, whatever that is. Made it back at Newlands Corner. That was quite a tough last climb to get back here in the searing heat, but there's a lovely breeze up here, and I'm going to see if I can find Kipper a nice big bowl of water, and I'm going to see if I can find a nice cold ice lolly, because I think we've earned it.